Marvel has the chance to bring one of the wildest, most brutal moments from the comics to the big screen. I'm talking about that insane scene where Dr. Doom rips out Thanos' spine in either Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars. I used to think this would be the ultimate showdown, and I've brought it up tons of times before because it's just so epic. But here's the thing. After sitting down and doing a bunch more research, my whole take on this has flipped upside down. Now, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Thanos who gets his spine yanked out and tossed aside by Doom. Instead, I think it's going to be Kang the Conqueror. Yeah, you heard me right, Kang. How does that even work? Why would Marvel switch it up like that? Don't worry, I'm going to walk you through every single detail step by step, so just hang with me until the end of this video. It's going to make sense, I promise. Let's rewind a bit. In my last video, which, by the way, was the longest one I've ever made, I dropped this huge, mind-blowing theory about Avengers Doomsday. If you haven't seen it yet, the basic idea is this. Tony Stark, the guy we've known and loved as Iron Man, was never actually Tony Stark. Crazy, right? My theory says he's been Victor Von Doom this whole time, secretly pulling strings behind the scenes. It's a big claim, but it ties up so many loose ends. It explains how Dr. Doom has been hiding right under our noses for the past 20 years in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. It also clears up why the Doomsday story kicks off right after the events of Avengers Endgame. And here's the kicker. It's why Robert Downey Jr., RDJ, is the only actor who can play Dr. Doom. Think about it. RDJ's Tony Stark vibe is so iconic that it makes perfect sense for him to slide into Doom's armor. We went over all the evidence for this in that last video, piece by piece, and it really holds up. If you haven't watched it yet, go check it out after this. It's worth it. But anyway, in that video, I said I'd dig even deeper into this theory because I knew there was more to uncover. And let me tell you, I did the work. I went down the rabbit hole, and what I found? Dude, it's wild. Some massive new twists came up that totally flipped my brain inside out, and I'm so excited to share them with you right now. You ready? Let's jump straight into it. First off, let's talk about that famous comic moment I mentioned, Thanos getting his spine ripped out by Doom. If you're a die-hard Marvel fan, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. It's legendary. But if you're more of a casual viewer who's just here for the movies, don't sweat it. I'll break it down super simple. In the comics, there's this one scene where Thanos, the big purple guy we all know from Infinity War and Endgame, messes up big time. He thinks Dr. Doom is some weakling, someone he can just push around, because, you know, Thanos is the mad titan. He's supposed to be unstoppable. So he challenges Doom, all cocky and full of himself. Bad move. Doom doesn't even blink. In one quick savage motion, he grabs Thanos, rips his spine right out of his back, and that's it. Game over. Thanos thought a regular human like Doom couldn't touch him. Well, guess what? Doom didn't just touch him. He ended him. It's hands down one of the most shocking, brutal, and downright cool moments in Marvel Comics history. That's why I've always thought Marvel would love to put it on the big screen in something like Secret Wars or Doomsday. It's too good to pass up, right? But here's where things get interesting. After digging into this new theory I've been working on, I started to see things differently. I still think Marvel's going to show this spine-ripping moment. It's too iconic not to. But I don't think it's going to be Thanos on the receiving end anymore. Nope, I'm betting it's going to be Kang the Conqueror, who gets wrecked by Doom instead. And trust me, there's a reason for this switch. To figure out why, we've got to go back to Loki Season 1, Episode 6, where He Who Remains, the guy who's basically a version of Kang, says something super important. He tells Loki, "I've been where you are. I've seen it all, and I know how it all ends." That line, "I know how it all ends," is where the whole story hides. Let me explain. When He Who Remains says he knows how it all ends, he's telling Loki he's seen the future, the big finish. He's talking about how these things called Incursions are going to destroy the multiverse. If you're not sure what incursions are, they're basically when different universes crash into each other and blow up, wiping out everything in them. It's bad news. So, He Who Remains has seen this coming. But here's the thing. He doesn't tell us what happens after that end. Maybe he saw the multiverse get totally destroyed, and when the dust settles, there's nothing left. No universes, no multiverse, just one thing standing: Doom and his battle world. Now, battle world isn't your typical universe. It's this weird patchwork place made up of bits and pieces from tons of different universes, all stitched together. So it's not really fair to call it just one universe. It's more like a Frankenstein's monster of realities. When Kang, or He Who Remains, says, "I know how it all ends," I think he means he knew that once he's gone and Loki takes over his job, everything's going to spiral out of control. The multiverse is like a tree, and its branches, these different timelines, are going to keep growing and growing until they get so wild that they start smashing into each other. That's what causes the incursions. And guess what? We've already seen this happening. In Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, they showed us incursions starting to pop off. Loki's supposed to be in charge now, holding all those branches together, but he can't stop it. Why? Because Loki's all about freedom. He wants the multiverse to have free will, to let everyone do whatever they want. That's the opposite of what He Who Remains wanted. He kept everything locked down tight. But now that Loki's running the show, that freedom comes with a huge cost. The multiverse is going to pay for it by getting completely destroyed. And poor Loki, he's stuck. He's holding those branches, trying to keep it all together, but he can't step in and fix it. He's basically trapped himself, watching the chaos unfold like it's some messed up movie. Let's break this down even more, because I know the multiverse stuff can get confusing. Picture this. Every time someone in any universe does something big with their free will, like messing with time or changing something they're not supposed to, a new branch grows on that multiverse tree. It's a new timeline, a new version of reality. Still with me? Okay, here's an example to make it super clear. Remember that scene in Avengers Endgame where Rhodey's joking around with Tony and says, "Why don't we just go back in time, find baby Thanos, put a rope around his neck, and take him out?" They didn't actually do it. It was just a funny what-if moment. But imagine if they had gone back and killed baby Thanos. What would happen? Well, if Thanos never grows up, then in 2012 there's the Avengers. The Chitauri aliens wouldn't invade New York because Thanos was the one who sent them. If that doesn't happen, there's no big Avengers team-up. Fast forward, and Infinity War wouldn't happen either. No snap. No half the universe disappearing. And without Infinity War, there's no end game. Everything would be totally different. That one change-killing baby Thanos would create a whole new timeline, a new branch on the multiverse tree where none of those movies we know ever happen. Instead, you'd get a completely different story playing out. Here's another example. Steve Rogers, aka Captain America. At the end of Endgame, he goes back in time to return all the Infinity Stones to where they belong. Cool, right? But when he does that, he doesn't just pop back right away. He stays in the past, lives a whole life with Peggy Carter, grows old, and then shows up in the present as an old man. That's sweet and all, but think about what he did. By staying in the past and living with Peggy, he changed things. He created a new timeline, a new branch where he's part of that history. That timeline keeps running even after he comes back to the main one as an old guy. So, Steve's little trip didn't just tie up loose ends. It added another branch to the multiverse. And that's just one guy. Imagine this happening all over the place. There are billions of universes out there, and in tons of them, heroes and villains are making choices, doing whatever they want, and creating new timelines left and right. They don't even realize what they're doing. They're not just messing up their own universe. They're putting the whole multiverse at risk. Every new branch is another chance for an incursion, another chance for everything to crash and burn. Hopefully, that makes the timeline game a little clearer. If it's still fuzzy, no worries. Just let me know in the comments, and I'll do a full breakdown someday with a whiteboard or something, step by step, so it's easy to follow. So here's where He Who Remains comes back in. He knew all this. He knew that if the multiverse keeps existing with all these branches growing wild, it's going to end badly. That's why he set up the sacred timeline, just one single path, no extra branches, no chaos. He was like the gardener trimming the tree so it wouldn't get out of hand. And honestly, he was the right guy for the job. He had it under control. But then Loki comes along, all heroic and full of himself, and decides he's going to take over. He grabs control of Yggdrasil. That's the big tree thing that holds all the timelines and says everyone gets free will now. Sounds noble, sure, but look at what's happening. The multiverse is falling apart because of it. When those incursions hit and billions of people die, who's going to be responsible? Loki's the one who let it get this messy. But here's the real twist I've been building up to. I don't think the end He Who Remains was talking about was just the multiverse blowing up. I think it's more than that. I think he saw what comes after Doom taking over and ruling Battleworld. And get this. He Who Remains wasn't as worried about the Council of Kangs, those other Kang variants out there, as he was about Doom. Doom's the real threat. If you want to know how Kang and Doom even know each other, or how all this ties into the multiverse collapsing and Battleworld rising, I've got you covered. I explained it all in my last video, so go watch that for the full scoop. It's a lot, but it connects the dots. Now, let's tie this back to Kang and why I think he's the one Doom's going to take out. Since Doom is the biggest danger to Kang and with all the recent insider rumors floating around, it sounds like Marvel isn't just going to drop Kang's story and pretend he never existed. They've built him up too much for that. Instead, I think they're bringing him back in Doomsday, but not for long. Picture this, RDJ as Doom steps up, faces off with Kang, and Bam rips his spine out. Just like in the comics with Thanos, it's the perfect move. Doom takes Kang's spot as the MCU's ultimate bad guy, and Kang's arc gets a solid ending. Fans get closure. And it all fits together. Marvel can't just ignore Kang after everything they've done with him. Where did he go? What happened to the Council of Kangs? They've hyped him up as this big deal, so they've got to explain it. Here's how I see it playing out. In the comics, after Battleworld gets created, Thanos shows up, challenges Doom, and gets destroyed. In the MCU, they could swap Thanos out for Kang. Same brutal death spine ripped out, total domination by Doom. It's a nod to the comics, wraps up Kang's story nice and neat, and sets Doom up as the new king of villains. Bringing Thanos back just for that one moment feels kind of random and forced. He's already had his big arc. Kang makes way more sense here. Doom kills him, and it's official. This is the guy He Who Remains was scared of all along. Doom's the new top dog in the MCU, and it might even start happening earlier than we expect, like, say, in the Fantastic Four movie coming up. How? Well, Kang's real name is Nathaniel Richards, and Reed Richards' dad is also named Nathaniel Richards. Coincidence? Nope. They're connected family ties. Kang's got links to both Reed and Doom. I've got a whole other video diving into how that relationship works, so if you want the details, check that out. If not, just trust me on this one, it's legit. Speaking of Fantastic Four, we've already seen some hints in the trailer. Reed's up there scribbling on his blackboard, working on time travel and multiverse stuff. He's in the know. He gets that something's going down with the multiverse right now. Maybe he even knows about a Kang variant out there somewhere. Point is, Kang's tied to both Reed and Doom. The multiverse is already crumbling with Incursions, and on top of that, Kang's actor, Jonathan Majors, has been dropping some big hints lately. In a recent interview, he said playing Kang is special to him because the character's so complicated and deep. He loves the role. He also pointed out that other actors have gotten second chances in Marvel after controversies, so why not him? He's got mad respect for Marvel, though, and said, "It's Marvel. You never know what they're cooking up." His big line, "It's not over until it's really over." That's a tease, right? Kang's still got fans talking about him even after all this time. Marvel knows people love him, so at the very least, they're going to give him a proper send-off. They have to. It's too obvious. And who knows, maybe they'll even hint at Kang coming back and getting taken out by Doom in Fantastic Four itself. Let me give you one more piece of evidence. Back in Loki Season 1, Episode 6, He Who Remains says, "We have crossed the threshold." That's a big deal. Up until that moment, he knew everything that was going to happen because he'd set it all up. Loki escaping in Endgame, getting nabbed by the TVA meeting, He Who Remains, that was all part of his plan, his threshold. But after that, even he didn't know what was coming next. He might have had some guesses, but once Loki took over, it was uncharted territory. Loki gave the multiverse free will, and all those timelines He Who Remains had kept quiet, maybe because of Doom started waking up. Now Doom's out there, free to do whatever he wants. That's when Kang steps up, challenges him, and gets crushed. Thanos could come back too, sure, maybe a variant like King Thanos who won in his universe only to lose it all when the multiverse dies and then picks a fight with Doom. But after this doomsday theory, I'm sold on Kang being the one to take that brutal L instead. It's a bigger moment. It ties everything together, and Doom's status goes through the roof. Oh, and one last thing, this multiverse and timeline stuff, it's a lot. I know it's confusing for tons of you, and that's fair. It's a mess out there. So, here's what I'm thinking. I could start a whole series where I break it all down from the start of the multiverse saga. We'd go through Kang, Loki, every event, how it all leads to Doom, everything explained super simple, no confusion. Timelines, Earth 6116, 838, Fox's X-Men, Sony's Spider-Verse, all that craziness, sorted out. It'd take a few videos, not just one, but if you want it, let me know in the comments. We'll kick it off next week, no stress. Tell me what you think of this Kang theory, too. Drop a like if you're into it, subscribe, hit the bell, and share this with your Marvel crew. That's my ask, fam.